All right, let's go to part three where it gets a little deeper.
Eventually, they seemed pretty frustrated and they were like, "Stop lying to us, man. Cut the garbage. Your friends rolled on you. It's done." And I'm just sitting here thinking, I have friends? But of course, in all seriousness, I was shocked by the change of tone because I had no clue what they were talking about. And I told them so. They were both like, "Come on, man, you're just embarrassing yourself at this point." One of the cops kept reassuring me that if I just told them what I knew, they could still help me, and the other was saying that I was too stupid to seize this last chance. Well, there was no reason for me to sit around and be spoken to like that, so I got up to leave. Before I knew what was happening, they started arresting me. It was like a horror movie nightmare playing out in slow motion in front of my own eyes. So at this point, I completely lost my cool. I kept really forcefully insisting that I didn't even know what they were talking about, like I'd been saying all along. They weren't having any of it. They kept saying, "Videotape doesn't lie, man. You want to see the tape before you lock yourself into another lie? The jury's gonna eat this up." Jury? I nearly wet myself. I don't even turn right on red lights half the time. I said, "You had video all this time and you're grilling me to remember what happened and you could have just shown me a video? What the F?" At this point, I knew that I was in over my head. A million thoughts were swirling around, and I was so overwhelmed and scared. I finally said what I should have said way back at the beginning. I said, "Should I be talking to a lawyer?" And they said, "Do you want to talk to a lawyer? Did you do something that would necessitate the aid of an attorney?" And the other guy was like, "If you want a lawyer, we'll get you one, but I have to say, that does not look good for you." And I shouldn't have believed him, because my dad has now drilled into my brain that you never talk to the cops, only your lawyer does. But at the time I thought, yeah, I guess asking for a lawyer does make it seem like I did something wrong. Then the cops showed me their video and there were timestamps and they're saying all this stuff and it was really a blur at that point. But one thing in particular stood out. They said something they'd already said a time or two before, but it hadn't totally sunken in until then. They said, "Your buddies thought this would be some quick money. They thought that it'd be real slick to order a pizza instead of just calling and saying to bring the stuff up. And that it wouldn't be suspicious if we wouldn't follow up. I know you're a good guy. You didn't know what you were getting yourself into. But if you're not honest with us, then we can't help you." I had told these cops repeatedly about the other guy who showed up to supposedly deliver a pizza. I even pointed the guy out on the footage. Unfortunately, the cameras didn't have audio, so they couldn't hear me arguing with the people in the apartment, or more importantly, hear the other guy say, "Pizza." Because the other guy didn't have a pizza box, and I did, they didn't believe me that I wasn't the pizza part of the operation. So, to recap, apparently the cops had learned that the criminals in the apartment were supposed to get a shipment of money from some guy disguised as a pizza delivery driver. The guys inside the apartment were told something like, "That afternoon, you'll get a pizza." These absolute morons in the apartment didn't understand the instructions and actually ordered a real pizza instead of just waiting for their cash delivery to show up. Looking back, when I heard that guy argue over the phone, I'm pretty sure he was saying, "Are you sure you're supposed to order an actual pizza?" Because what else would they have been arguing about right then? So once I connected all the dots, it was simply a matter of proving that my pizza delivery was legitimate.
This is me guessing, okay? I'm not remotely going to try to say this is a fact. This is me guessing why the cops are acting like this.
Because they're cops.
Well, yeah. I mean, let's go a little deeper. They can't find the other guy, i.e., the other pizza delivery person that didn't even have a pizza to begin with, but whatever. They can't find him. They can find this pizza delivery person because, and this is a part where Theus is absolutely correct because they're cops. We know where to find him. So let's go ahead and get the easier fish and see if we can flip him for the bigger fish. They're just shooting questions out there. They don't know if this guy's involved or not. But their whole thought process is to close this case at this point, not justice. Justice is we got somebody. If his may not be the person that had something to do with absolutely nothing. That's not their point. They closed the case. They know where to find this guy. They can't find the others. Believe me when I tell you, if the other guys had already done flipped on them, they're not being this cruel and unusual and all this questioning and cussing them out and arresting and everything else. You already got witnesses that said he did it. What's the questioning about? I got 3 guys? Yeah, 3 guys, at least in the story, that said you was a part of it. We ain't finna question you. We got 3 witnesses that said you was part of it. They don't. But they have you. We live in a country where it is more profitable, promotions and things like that, to close a case than to get justice. That's what it's going to look like on their resumes when it's time for promotions and everything else. How many cases did you close? Not one part of that questionnaire is going to say, did you get the right man? Did you get a conviction? Nope. They're just going to say they closed the case. And if that means throwing you under the bus and destroying your life, oh well.